Yeah, I've been here 18. But this is one of the things that are so tolerance. I can't drink
Mic check, testing 1, 2. Mic check. Testing. Hold. Mic check, testing.
Okay.
Okay, we're ready for Coach Bennett. We'll start in the second row with Mike, and then we'll go Gene next.
It seemed like a very physical game midway through the first half. Maybe your guys kind of ratcheted up their physicality. What did you see on that end?
Yeah, I mean, this is a heck of a tournament. We were just talking, all four of these teams can play, and it's physical. I mean, with UCLA and Baylor, that's going to be a heck of a game. And then watching Illinois, they want to play so fast, but yet they're physical. It was hard, but we talked about in the second half, the theme was stand your ground from start to finish, and that means standing your ground in the areas that are important to us. And, I thought it was just hard for us early offensively to get looks, and then some guys made some plays, but it was one of those, who's going to yield? You always have to say who's going to outlast too. And yeah, certainly good bounces here and there, and guys have to make plays, but they have some young guards, and our experienced guards showed, but I think it was a hard-fought game, and I love seeing the effort. Win or lose, that was, there was mistakes on both teams, but guys wanted it, both teams, and you could feel it. You could feel it in the atmosphere, or in the crowd's atmosphere, and it just had a good feeling, and I was just grateful, and I keep telling our guys, be free. Play as hard as you can. You're not going to be perfect, but be free, because you got a perspective now that, we probably didn't have a week ago.
Gene.
You kind of put in perspective what's the whole thing like, having someone celebrate today.
Yep.
All the heartbreak.
Yeah, it's just momentary. It feels good for in the moment, and then it's gone, because, I'll never forget, as you said that, a quote my father said, and I remember, and I've said it before to you guys, but it feels great in the moment, and but because I think even more so now, we know what truly matters. Our families, our faith, appreciating the gift of each day. When you have a momentary celebration like this, it enables you to enjoy it. And it seems to matter, but in the big picture, it doesn't. What matters are the things that have been brought front and center, that are real. And so you cling to those things, but when you step between the lines, when you play, when you practice, you get to your routine and you get after it, but your heart and mind is never far from our football team, those families, our staff, everybody around. It's just, and I know tragedies are happening all over the world, and it's just, but when it comes to you, it gives you that feeling. But it was a little more emotional for me, I think for those reasons. But if this just for those 2 hours, let some people in Charlottesville and everybody watch, that's good, and their mind was on that. That's a good thing.
Okay, we'll take one in front.
Tony, what did you guys do to frustrate Terrence Shannon so much?
Yeah, well, he was terrific against UCLA, and he's a one-man fast break. He's so explosive in transition. Obviously, shooting, Armand shot so well, and then, he wasn't, I don't know what Armand shot today. His shot wasn't quite there as much. So when your shot's not going, we said, make them earn. Let's crowd them a little more. We weren't switching like some of the other teams and just tried to jam the lane. But Reese Beekman really took the challenge. Reese really played well, obviously all tournament, but down the stretch. And Reese is deceptively quick and athletic and hard to get clean looks. And the other guys did their job helping for the most part. So it was just try to bother him. Try not to get hurt on the glass, and we were bending but not breaking. And then, again, the last 4 minutes, just some things went our way, but guys did execute.
Okay, John in the middle.
Coach, you attempted 44 more free throws than your opponents this weekend. Is that part of the game plan? Is that something we should expect to see out of your team the rest of the season?
I think, both of these teams we played switched every off-ball and on-ball screen, or 90-some%. So when that happens, you're gonna get some bigs on smalls, smalls on bigs, and we tried to make a concerted effort to attack when we could or look inside. And they're both so good defensively and so physical. And again, the fact that we got to the line, that's good, because we haven't done that in the past. And yeah, I remember coaching with Coach Ryan, he always talked about, that was a big stat to him, attempted free throws or made free throws versus the other team. So that's good to see, and I hope that'll keep up. And again, our league is really good, and you play against so many different kinds of styles, but this challenged us, and I thought our guys, in light of everything, prepared well and had the right mindset. And so, again, to get to your question, I hope we will be more assertive getting to the free throw line.
Mike.
Tony, you guys, again, were great defensively in the second half, particularly down the stretch, hit a lot of free throws in the second half. Are those areas where the experienced veteran guys that shows up a little more?
Yeah, guard play, our experience with Kihei and Reese and Armand, those guys played. I think, to handle the ball, but sometimes the game comes down to you got to go make some plays at times. You try to run good stuff and you get looks, but can you make some plays defensively and offensively while still staying in the structure of your system? And I think our guys did that. And again, sometimes it's just a bounce here or there. Guys are missing shots, but I liked what happened, and I thought that charge Armand took was huge. And again, these are 18 to 23 or whatever year olds, and sometimes you just don't know what's going to happen. So you try to control as much of the controllables as you can, but they have to go make plays, and that's the beauty of this game.
Gene.
Yeah, Tony, just your general thoughts about the defensive intensity in the last 4 minutes where Illinois had one field goal, with 30 seconds.
Yeah, it was good on-ball defense. I mean, that's where Kihei and Reese, they were really trying to stay in front. And again, we made some plays. I'll have to watch the tape, but we haven't the last few years been where we've needed to be defensively. And so I hope this will give us some momentum to understand that's how you win. You defend and you get it to the game. There's always a battle of styles and wills that go on in each game. And we knew what Illinois wanted to do. They knew what we wanted to do. And it was just who's going to establish it and who's going to make stops. We just always talk about stop, score, or at least make them earn, and then go down there and get your looks. And I think it was a 13-4 run or whatever. I'll have to look at it, but I did think we made it hard for them, and maybe some of their inexperience showed too.
Okay, we got time for one more with Mike.
Yeah, Tony, you told us in Charlotte that you wanted to test this roster with a tough schedule. I think I know the answer here, but did you get what you wanted out of these two games?
Yeah, I mean, that definitely, this tournament. Remember, some people traveled a long way to convince us to come. They're back there to come to this tournament. And, well, it's a long way. It's a long flight. And we're leaving we're taking a red eye, we're flying, well, it's not a commercial red eye, but we're taking a red eye. You guys are, sorry. But it was well presented and good people that are running it, and we just said, boy, this field is a good one. And again, you have to, and we got a great schedule coming up, but you want to put yourself in those spots because you learn a lot. And everyone's good for the most part in college basketball, but these games in this setting create a unique environment that is something you want to get to as the season goes on. So absolutely. And it was, again, well run, and I'm glad we did it. And you could go 2-0, 1-1, or 0-2, and you're going to learn a lot, and you're still going to be good because of this competition.
Okay, thanks, Tony. We'll have Reese Beekman and Jaden Gardner available outside of our locker room.
That's great. That's my job. It's a great job. Hi, Dan. Great to see you. Thank you. It's nice to be back again. Feel like home.
Yeah, I started with left side.
We're gonna say things the other night, we'll have Coach make a statement, I'll take a question for Jake and Coleman, and then we'll go to the fans.
Derek, you got a stat sheet anywhere? Really, really high level basketball game. Man, I have so much respect for Tony. I have everything their campus is going through, everything their program's going through with the three tragedies. I can't imagine. I know as a DIA athletic department how close and intertwined we all become and what that has to be. And so my thoughts and prayers are with everyone on their campus. It meant a lot for them to allow us to wear their shooting shirts today with those young people on it that tragically had their life taken. But high level game. Defensively, both teams were really dialed in. They forced us to make some adjustments. I think we forced them to even play small sometimes. But I was excited for the learning curve that we had today. We came out on the wrong side. We're up 2 with 3:27 to go or something like that, and we fouled a 3-point shooter. We maybe didn't execute the way we need to execute, but they did, and that's a tribute to them and their experience. But we will definitely grow from that, and we will definitely learn a lot and we learned a lot about it. I learned a lot. I made some mistakes down the stretch that I can't make, and but that's I'm proud of these guys, and this is a Final Four caliber tournament and event that took place here. I think all these teams are going to have great seasons, and we're just blessed to be a part of it and learn a lot about ourselves as we move forward. And now we, simple task, just get better.
Talk about the defensive intensity, and this team is known as the best defensive team in the country. Pretty different than average.
What was the last part you said? I'm sorry.
Was it different from what you've experienced before, more intense defensively?
No, I don't think so. I think when we play teams that can post our guards up and take advantage of those switches, I think that's kind of what they try to exploit. We were switching on pin downs and things like that. They would throw the ball into the post, back our guards in. So I think that those are probably like the only challenges with post ups, stuff like that. But other than that, I think our switching is going to be a problem down the road when we start limiting mistakes on defense. I think we're going to have the best defensive team in the country. So.
Hey, Jaden. So Coach just mentioned, obviously, you guys got to learn a lot from this weekend. What are one of the things that you're going to take away from this experience?
This was like a great experience for me playing on this level, playing at a high level and playing against a good team like that. And I feel like I'm just going to learn how to just execute down the stretch, like Coach said, and just stay solid on defense and just always continue to play hard. But mostly just continue to execute and always just do what we do.
Coleman, what did you learn about your team playing two top 25 opponents, including win over a top 10 team and a team that's, won a lot of games in their career?
Yeah, I think I learned we're right there with the best of them. I think we could compete with anybody in the country. The way we can use different pieces, sub multiple guys in, and we're tough. Our freshmen, they have to play. They can't be freshmen. They're getting down the stretch. We're going to be dependent on them. The ball's in Sky's hands, Jaden's hands at the point, both freshmen. But I just learned we're tough. And like I said, we can compete with anybody in the country, really.
For Jaden, it seems like you've made a very good college choice, and obviously Norfolk and Charlottesville are not right around the corner from each other. I was just curious, were you a fan growing up, or did they try to recruit you, or do you have friends who go there or anything like that?
Yeah, one of my friends does play on UVA, Chase Coleman. So, I definitely was a UVA fan growing up. It's right at home. So, I have a lot of respect for that program. Like Coach said, what they're going through right now, I have a lot of respect for them for that, coming out here and competing. And, that they were also always close to home, so I've always been a fan of them.
Coleman, just what maybe in the last 4 minutes tripped you guys up kind of execution-wise?
I think we all kind of just try to make home run plays. I don't think we listened well. I think we all kind of just did our own thing late. There might have been some tough calls against us. People's heads weren't focused on the right things. But at the end of the day, I honestly couldn't tell you what truly happened. It just kind of just went to chaos down the stretch. But like I said, there's just a lot to learn from this experience, and we'll definitely have to clean up late game execution. So.
Jaden, this has been known as one of the better defensive programs in the country. What'd you learn? What makes them difficult? What'd you learn from playing against a defense like this?
I would say they are defensively sound. The most thing that I learned was that they hard hedge. So how to play against hard hedges and how to play against a packed line. They're pretty disciplined in that, so it was a big learning experience for me playing against that and seeing how that looks and ways to get my teammates to the ball, way to create shots and stuff like that. And I would say I think it was good for me to play against something like that and learn from it.
This last two players, Coleman, for you guys to be in this type of NCAA tournament situation. How can that help you guys going forward? You use this for down the road?
Yeah, Coach touched on it after the game. Just even the timing of the games. You play one late Friday, then you play one early on Sunday. So who's in shape enough to go out and compete in both games? Not just win one game and then you can't go out and perform Sunday lose, because like you said, no one cares if you lose. You got to win it all. So down the line, just game times, quick scouting reports, quick turns, winning one game and not focusing on that one, focusing on the next one. So I think it's going to be really good for us down the line because I think this team has a really good chance of making it pretty far in that tournament. So.
Hey, Brad, the disparity in the free throw shooting, how big a factor was that, and what did they do, I guess, effectively or however to get that many free throws?
Yeah, it's something we've got to clean up. We can't foul. I'll see it when I watch the film. But again, I thought there was a few plays where we were pretty vertical and went up and maybe didn't go our way, but that's one game. I think we've been getting to the foul line a lot. I didn't think Terrence. Terrence usually. I think the game before we came out here, he drew 10 fouls, and he's a high level foul drawer. And but in a high level game, you're not going to get those, and we got to be ball tough, and we've got to be smarter and not foul. And obviously there was a big foul at the end towards the end of the game with a shooting foul. But those are mistakes you can't make.
Coach, I know Terrence can't make 8 threes every single game, but when you have the 5th leading scorer in the nation, do you need him to score well and or play well to win games, in your opinion?
You always want your best players, and I'm always going to put them in positions to try to be successful. It was a unique night. I mean, Terrence is from the free throw line. It was very unique. He didn't get there, and he's been a guy that's because you make a lot of threes one night, he can't forget where his bread is buttered, so to speak, and that's driving that thing to the rim. And opens the second half and just missed a layup. And he got really good looks and felt good about some of those things. And he's got to grow from this. We're expecting him to be really, really good. And we're counting on him to be really good. And good players don't have off nights in big games. Just doesn't happen. You hardly ever see that. And he's got to accept that role and become that guy for us.
Coach, Dane Danger, over here, Coach. Dane Danger, I think he played just 7 minutes in the first half. Was there something you saw, or was it just saving him for the second half? Or?
Great flow. I mean, we were getting, with Dane again, we played a little bit different. Tonight we had great flow. It was one of the challenges and one of the mistakes I made in the second half. Dane got us some easy baskets, but it got us out of flow. And, I set Matt too long. We were clicking with Coleman. We were getting cuts. We had the ball moving, and it was not in any way effective of Dane. It was just what they did. We forced them to play small. And, they took their 2 7-footers out, which they hardly ever do. And, but we had everything we wanted in the first half with our movement. And so there was just one of those nights for him. And I like the way we were guarding and able to switch. So it has much to do with that end as the other.
Brett, obviously you scheduled this tournament to test your team, find out what you have. Would you find out against 2 very different opponents? Yeah,
we're pretty good. We're going to be really good. And, the 2 teams that are playing right now are both top 10 teams. And, Virginia is one of the most experienced teams in the country. And obviously, you got a point guard who won a national championship and leading them. So, they've got all 5 starters back. And we're right there. Our ceiling, we're not even close to it. And I'm still learning, 8 new guys. And I'm still learning, okay, maybe Terrence has an off night or somebody takes him away. Where do I go? So I'm learning just as much about this group in the heat of the moment. But go hoop and play and compete and fight. We just did that at a very, very high level in what you could call this a Final Four caliber event, and it was. And I feel pretty good about that. Now we just can't rest on it. We've got to drive them. We've got to get better. And we talked about that, as Coleman mentioned, the Friday, Sunday turns and, mentally tough and the grind and getting in elite shape and all those things. And, handling a scouting report. We didn't have a shoot around this morning. All that stuff is new for these guys. And, we had to make some adjustments on the fly. We made some pretty good ones, and we made some that didn't quite work. But we'll get there. But boy, you guys aren't ever going to be happy after a loss. But I'm in a fairly good place with what can be.
Brad, I came a little late. I'm sorry if you said this, but obviously with what Virginia's been through, with what happened on their campus, can you and I don't want to diminish that by making it about basketball, but can you see in the way that they play that maybe it brought them together? They're playing with a new perspective, just kind of throwing themselves into it. I mean, maybe there's a connection between what happened and how they played here.
Oh, I would be disappointed if it's not. I think that, we talked about that with our team. They're playing for a cause. And when I was at Oklahoma State, Seth, we played in the NCAA tournament, the Michigan team that had the scare with the plane crash that won the Big Ten tournament. And you get a little bit of a appreciation for what we get to do. And we get to go play the game we love it because it could be really taken away from us. And it makes me nauseous. It makes me sick to think that that's happening on our college campuses within our athletic departments, and especially, I guess it happens anywhere, but a prestigious, university like the University of Virginia. So I'm sure they did. I'm sure they had a mission. Now I also know Tony's team's really good, and they don't need that. But I would hope that that's maybe brings a little joy to the 20,000 people he said yesterday that were at the funeral services and the solemnness that they're going through. So that stuff really bothers me, but I would hope it brings them just a little joy anyway.
To see how your team played and responded to maybe two very different late game situations in these two games, just what can you take from that? Is that just maybe a bigger part of, using these games?
Execution. I mean, you got to, and again, in the UCLA game, we were able to get the ball where we needed to get it. We were, and Terrence made shots. It became a little more of an isolation game. And just moving. Today, I was probably as bothered by the defensive side as I was the offensive side in terms of executing. And yet we've got to be tougher. We've got to be mentally disciplined, dialed in. We came out of a timeout. Jaden Epps is going to be fabulous, guys, and just broke off a play. Didn't even run it the right way. And diagrammed it and those are all learning points. Those are all things we have to learn. And, that's something that, you can do that in high school and get away with it because you're the best player on the court. Out here, there's real dudes. And, those are all moments.
Brad, getting back to Jaden there, you clearly are trusting him with the ball late in games. What have you seen from him practicing so far this season to have him earn that trust for you?
Well, he and Sky are really good. And, I had those guys in a lot down crunch time. But no, he was very effective in increasing their defense, especially their ball screens. We were twisting a lot of ball screens tonight, and I felt like Jaden could get into the paint. He's been a very, very, very good finisher at the rim over size, but again, he missed a couple that he normally makes, and we don't want to discourage that in any way. But and then Sky's just been rock solid, and I got to get Sky, a little more assertive and aggressive. But we're in good hands with those two.
Coach, in the late game execution offensively, and I know you touched on that a little bit, but how much is it just trying to find who you guys are there, that identity of what you want to do then?
Yeah, felt pretty good after Friday night's game, you know, hey, we're going to get the ball to Terrence, and you go with your veterans. And my mind is, as you guys know, I lean heavily on the veterans. And tonight, you know, in a game that TJ truthfully didn't have it going, I ran a couple of things to Jaden. And then we tried to get a couple post-ups for Dane. Dane got a great look. Ball didn't go in. I've got to, it's on me. I set Matt too long. Matt's a guy who can go get a bucket. And I gotta get him in the ball game there.
Hey, Brad, so could you talk to us about the freshmen, specifically Jaden, and also with Sincere, just how they didn't have any fear at the moment this weekend?
Yeah, they just love to hoop. They love to compete. They're both extremely competitive. Sky's very competitive. Ty Rogers is very competitive. Ty had a tough tournament. You know, he got in foul trouble the first night and was better tonight. But all these guys compete, and they're about all of the right things. They're about winning. They're about us. And it's not here where they're out here trying to play for their draft status, you know, or any of that. These guys are here. They're invested in everything we're doing, and they love their university. They love their teammates. And when you play the game the right way like that, you're going to find success. And are there going to be days like today where there's a speed bump? Yep. And you grow from that. And, you know, it's next time, next man up, they'll make them. And that's what I like about this group. They're not going to play with fear, and they're going to cut it loose.
With the defense, with your switching, Virginia seemed to, both teams did a little bit, Virginia executed better with the slipping it and ghosting it, whatever they were trying to do against those. How do you develop, is just communication there with these guys?
Yeah, it's first, second half, and you have to call a timeout because we just literally don't communicate on something we talked about at halftime. We knew that they go to the baseline, and the baseline runner is not a screen, so it's not a switch. And we were trying to switch it, and again, scouting report, not having to shoot around, knowing that that's something in their bag. You've got to learn some of those things on the fly. That's where experience helps. A couple of those times it was veterans. It was RJ and Coleman and Matt once. So you know you've got to grow from those. I thought you hold one of the best offensive teams in the country to 30. What they shoot the first half? I don't have the stat sheet. 37%. And we did a lot of great things. They hurt us with second chance points, but I thought our defense was really pretty solid throughout for facing the teams we faced out here.
Brad, do you have an update on Matt? Went on his shoulder.
I don't know anything. He said it just was a stinger, and we'll see. I hope it's nothing beyond that. Thank you.
Hey, Brad, did you ask to wear those shooting shirts? Do they offer?
We asked. We were trying to get some made, but they